Hey there, Scary Parrish. Welcome back to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting, dodo birds, and leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button. Like your Brandon Davies, you have consent. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the CBS Sports College Basketball YouTube channel. Also do that while you're here. Let's get into it. Today we are, hallelujah, wrapping up our Summer Shootaround series with another bonus episode. This one, we auctioned off for $1,500. Basically, we said at some point throughout this process that we would do a bonus episode on literally any college basketball team the highest bidder asked us to do a bonus episode on. Somehow we ended up doing two. One on Oklahoma and this one on another school.
Don't say it.
For an extra $1,500. Every penny will go to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in downtown Memphis. It's awesome stuff. So we want to thank Chris for making that donation. As my friend, colleague Pete Gillen would say, you're a fine American. My apologies if you're not American. Either way, you get the point. Thank you, Chris. Now, here's a twist. As discussed at the end of the Oklahoma bonus episode, we decided to keep Norlander in the dark on this one. In other words,
that's right.
I know what we're about to talk about. Deadleg genuinely has no idea.
I honestly have no idea. And if you are listening to this, it wasn't in the title. No. It wasn't in the description. So everyone involved in this episode, with the exception of the winning bid, Gary Parrish and Kanata Edwards, knows what team this is right now.
So Deadleg will know when you know. And not a second earlier. And I'm going to drop it on all of you momentarily. But first, a word.
What?
From our partners.
No!
It's time. The best Transformers yet.
There you go.
Is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is gonna be fun, man. Now let's talk to your manifestation.
Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Rated PG-13. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
All right, Deadleg, we're going to kind of trivia time our way through this until you figure out what team we're talking about.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you a hint. Then you get one guess off of that hint. If you get it right, congratulations. Then we'll discuss the team. If you don't get it right, then we'll move on to the next hint, and
people
eventually
can play along with the podcast.
Eventually,
eventually
we're going to figure out where we're at. You'll get it at some point, and everybody can obviously play at home. Here's hint number one.
All right.
The school we're about to talk about did make the NCAA tournament last season.
All right. Right off the bat. All right. So we have not talked about him yet. And I am going to reference, I got Ken Palm up here because I got to be able to scan through these teams here. A team that made the tournament last season that we have not talked about.
Right.
I'm going to say that the fan base out in Ames got really inspired, coughed up $1,500, and we're about to talk about the Iowa State Cyclones.
That is an incorrect answer. We are not about to talk about the Iowa State Cyclones.
Okay.
Reasonable guess.
All right.
Incorrect. Hint number two. This school has produced a future NBA MVP.
Okay. Made the tournament and has an MVP at the NBA amongst its former players. All right. Let's scroll down here. Fun here is playing at home. Let's see. We talked about them. We've talked about them. Has an MVP and made the tournament, and we have not talked about him yet. I don't think. Okay. I'm still looking. Hold on. I will say if it's this school, the Memphis Tigers made the tournament, and Derrick Rose was an MVP. Did someone out of Memphis, your hometown, get this done? Did Memphis win this thing?
The University of Memphis is an incorrect answer.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. You know what? I think a lot of people listening are also let's going right now. Let's go. Okay, what do we got next?
Hint number 3. This school last made the Sweet 16
Ooh.
in 1995.
Can I bonus this one with one that I asked you? Do you think I have ever been to this campus? Yes, no, or not sure?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Last made the Sweet 16 in 95?
That's right.
Okay. Has an NBA MVP, made the 23 dance, and that's beyond Arkansas right now. All right, let me look through here. I'm going to start naming off teams that made the tournament, and then I'm just going to talk out loud on this. All right. It's not VCU. It's not Pitt. It's not Arizona State. It might be Arizona State. I'll wait on that. I don't know if Arizona State, did Harden... First of all, I don't know the last time Arizona State made a Sweet 16, and did Harden win an MVP? I'm looking at KenPom. I can't see GP's face right now, so I don't know, but I'm going to lean there. Ooh. I don't know anyone from that school that would have been an MVP. Definitely not them. Hold on. Let me just see if I can get a better guess than Arizona State. 95 made it. Gary Parrish. I'm looking at these teams that made the tournament. I'm going to say, I honestly, as weird as it sounds, I don't know if Harden's won an MVP, but Arizona State is my guess. Are the Sun Devils of Arizona State, who we're about to talk about on this podcast? Oh, my gosh. No.
I'm a Sun Devil. I'm a Sun Devil. Look at me.
Ding.
Look at me. I'm a Sun Devil.
That's not the original voice. This is what you did. You did. I'm a Sun Devil. It's in my board. Hold on. Where is it? Where is the Sun Devil drop? Hold on. It's in here somewhere. Here it is. Ready for it?
I'm a Sun Devil. Look at me. I'm a Sun Devil.
That's right. Arizona State. Congratulations.
I put the MVP too high. I should have had it lower. Here's some other possible hints we were going to get to for Arizona State. This school is coached by a former NBA player. There is Arizona State Memphis parallels here. In the tournament last year, coached by a former NBA player, has produced an MVP. Last made the Sweet 16 in 1995. That's true for Arizona State. Here's one. Here was a hint for you.
Okay.
This school is in a conference that it's never actually won. Did you know that?
I would have gotten there only because Arizona State, so I can vamp a little bit here as we get into this. I know that Arizona State might have the most surprisingly anemic history in men's basketball of any program that you might think is just better than it is, but it really is not. I mean, what Hurley has been able to do there, he has all sorts of records, be it within conference play or wins against ranked competition or road wins or et cetera, because they've got a great sports information department there. So if you had given me that, I probably would have been on the right track there. I have been to Phoenix. I have been on the campus. I have never been in the building. I've never been in their arena, but I have been on Arizona State's campus. Yes.
Same. I've been on the campus. I've never been in the building.
Here's a question for you. Here's one for you.
Okay.
If we had done, because I had my own, I was going to try and get there a different way. And one of my questions, the fifth question would have been, I'm curious how you would have answered this. I was going to ask, is the moniker / mascot human, animal, or other? How would you define a Sun Devil?
I think a Sun Devil is other.
I think it's other. That would have really
not human,
no,
but also not an animal.
Yeah, it's other.
Unless you can go to PetSmart and purchase a Sun Devil, I'm gonna say it's not an animal.
Well, congratulations to the Arizona State fan base. We have there's one more thing before we get into this conversation about these Sun Devils. Okay, we have to do, and we will do the private Zoom call with Chris, and if he wants to rally a few buds, we're going to get that done at some point. We'll take care of you. We'll get that done probably at some point in September. Here's the thing that we need to clarify. You dropped this $1,500 number out there, but I believe you said it had to be an entirely separate $1,500 contribution in order to do a standalone episode on Tom Fornelli, because some people saw that a $1,500 bid won this episode, and so they are eagerly anticipating a Parrish monologue about the late great Tom Fornelli.
No, it was you can have a bonus episode for $1,500 for, I think the minimum was $1,000 on whatever team you want. And then additionally, if you wanted a $1,500 Tom Fornelli episode, I would give you one of those. But I don't think we got that. So I think
it wasn't get to the $1,500 threshold. It was a $1,500 on top.
Yeah, like if you just I thought it would be funny if somebody was like, I'll spend $1,500 to get Parrish to talk about Fornelli for 20 minutes. I thought that was just the premise is funny.
I think that people might be seeking that out. But
well, they can keep doing whatever they want.
Okay.
I'm going on vacation. Okay.
I know.
People can do whatever they want.
Here's a fun fact. As you're listening to this, Parrish is on vacation.
What would Magic Johnson say?
I ain't gonna be here.
That's right. Cue Magic Johnson. All right. A couple more hints because these are kind of interesting. Okay. I learned about Arizona State. Won the WAC title in 1975. Obviously. Joined the Pac-8 in 1978 and has never won a regular season title.
Crazy.
The only other schools currently in the Pac-12 who have never won a regular season title, Colorado, but they didn't join until 2011, 2012. Utah, but they didn't join until 2011, 2012. Arizona State joined in 1978 and never even snuck into a regular season conference championship. That's wild to me. Here's a few other hints I was going to give you. This school has agreed to change leagues in the future. That would have narrowed it down for you. They're going Arizona State going to the Big 12. How about this? This school's all-time leading scorer is named Eddie.
Eddie House.
Eddie House, right?
Yes.
The initials to this school's arena are DFA. Do you know the name of it?
Person or company?
Company. DFA.
I have no idea. I could not tell you.
Desert Financial Arena.
I wasn't getting there.
Desert Financial Arena. And then as we got to the end, I stopped it at 10 because I was going to get you there at some point. Yeah, this school's coach won 2 national titles as a player. Bobby Hurley, 1991 and 92. And then if you couldn't even get that, this school's coach is the brother of the man who won the 2023 NCAA tournament. I was going to get you there.
Yeah, we would have gotten there. How about the Sun Devils? Oh man, look,
I'm a Sun Devil.
How about that? All right, tell the people what they need to know about the Arizona State Sun Devils while I bring up this schedule, because I gotta do what's done on every episode. I gotta build out an over/under here, so it's all you, GP.
Bobby Hurley Sun Devils. They finished 23-13 last season, went 11-9 in the Pac-12, lost in the semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament, then got an 11 seed in the NCAA tournament, beat Nevada by 25 in the round of 64, then lost to TCU in the round of 32. Top 3 scorers from that team are gone. Among them, the Cambridge brothers, Desmond and Devin, both gone. DJ Horn also gone. Those 3 players combined to average 35.9 points per game last season. That makes Frankie Collins the leading returning scorer at 9.7 points per game. I do not have Arizona State ranked in the preseason top 25 and 1. I only go to 26 teams. I don't got them in my top 26. But my friend and colleague, the legend John Rothstein, he ranks 45 teams. It's the Rothstein 45. And he has Arizona State at number 44 right now. We'll see what Deadleg thinks about that next. But first, a word. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was like, what?
We've done our business already.
I was like, we did this.
All right. Deadleg, Arizona State.
Yeah.
As a preseason top 45 team. Is that appropriate? Or is it the epitome of brutality?
No, it's not the epitome of brutality. I think that is probably appropriate for Arizona State. Did make the tournament last season and got in there with not too much room to spare. I was listening to who you said they lost, and that is significant overall. Hurley's done pretty well. He has managed, and he got a contract extension back in April, but managed to have a tournament level team at Arizona State 4 times. One of them was 2020, but he is pacing himself toward being the most successful coach in program history, and he hasn't even been there a decade because they have managed to be competitive in the Pac-12 in most seasons, and I don't see why that won't necessarily still be the case this season. Now, they're not going to be on UCLA's level, Arizona's level, USC's level, but looking around, who's going to be the 4th team? And you can make the case for Colorado, Oregon, Arizona State, Utah. I think it's a sneaky one to watch out there for, and probably Washington. Probably one of those 5 will wind up being team number 4 there. So, yeah, I mean, I think they've got a shot at being top 45 level. And if you're in that conversation, then you're going to be on the conversation again to break through to the NCAA tournament, even if that means being a double-digit seed. I don't know if there are, outright tournament expectations there. GP can let us know where they are in Torvik. If you said it before, I missed that, buddy. But Hurley has he has continually proven people wrong, because Arizona State has been picked low in the past in the preseason Pac-12 polls and outperformed that. And the other thing I love about Hurley, and actually I'm going to have to send a text here. They have not published their non-conference schedule, so I'll see what I can get in a couple minutes. But he always schedules aggressively. And by aggressively, I mean it's a tier or 2 above what the level of perception that Arizona State's men's basketball program's at. Like, he will play almost anyone, anywhere. And I mean anywhere. He will play mid-majors on the road, has done it. Will play 3 non-conference games on the road, has done it. And so I would anticipate that to be the case again. And credit to him, because I think a lot of coaches in his spot might not be as continually aggressive as he's been, but to his credit, it's paid off, and Arizona State has at least had some momentum, some direction, some highlights. This is one of the best. This is a random one, but I know because I wrote about it for a court report. Hurley's got something like 35 second half come from behind wins as a coach, or something like it's an outrageous number. They're a team that under Hurley might not start games well, but they tend to finish well, and they're never really out of it. So I do think they've got a chance to be a top 45 team. You go ahead, keep filling the people in, and I'm going to try and see if I can get this schedule here.
You mentioned Torvik. They're actually 74th at Torvik in the preseason. That represents 10th in the Pac-12, ahead of only California and Oregon State. So I would probably have Arizona State no higher than 5th in the Pac-12, but possibly as high as 5th in the Pac-12. I do think the order in the Pac-12 should probably be USC 1, Arizona 2, UCLA, Colorado 3 and 4 in some order, and then I can start to have some conversations. But it's hard to, on paper at least, put Arizona State as a projected top 4 team in the Pac-12. But as always, there are surprises every single season, so don't rule anything out. I mentioned Frankie Collins earlier as the leading returning scorer. He's a 6'1" guard, third-year player, averaged 9.7 points, 4.3 assists, 4.1 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and 27.9 minutes per game last season. He started his career at Michigan. Here's a question for you. Is Frankie Collins the only person to ever play for 2 dudes who played in the 1992 national championship game?
I would think so. But
probably got to be, doesn't he?
Got to be, yes.
Played for Juwan Howard, and now he's playing for Bobby Hurley. Next year he plans to play for Christian Laettner. Next year he plans to play for Ray King.
There we go.
Next year he is going to play for Jalen Rose. What if that was his goal in college, just to play for every coach, every person who played in the 1992?
Weird goal. Yeah.
It would be a weird goal. But hey, set your goals wherever you like them. Frankie Collins. Not really a shooter. Shot 33.8% from 3 on 2.1 attempts per game. Career 58.4% free throw shooter. So he's not a shooter, just a solid college point guard. Obvious limitations, but a solid college point guard. they like everybody else got into the transfer portal. Got Kamari Lands out of Louisville. He's a 6'8" second-year player. Just a bit player for a bad team. You don't know what that's going to translate. But he was what that's going to translate into. But he was a top 80 prospect in the class of 2022. Played at Hillcrest Prep in Phoenix, so he's familiar with the area. They went out and got Sean Phillips from LSU via the transfer portal. 7-foot second-year player. He was, top 160 guy in the class of 2022. So, not a top 100 prospect in high school. Didn't have a great first year at LSU, but he's somebody who could play some meaningful minutes for Arizona State. Jemiah Neal is back, 6'6", third-year player. Again, 16 minutes per game last season. He was a role player, but he's been in the program. This will be year 3 for him in the program, so he's familiar with everything. Alonzo Gaffney is back. He started his career at Ohio State, but has played the past 2 seasons at Arizona State. Role player last season, about 16 minutes per game. Started 3 times. Not a shooter. And so you look at the guys who are going to be playing meaningful minutes. That's the first thing that stands out to me. There's a lot of guys who you wouldn't describe as accomplished, reliable shooters that Bobby's probably going to be relying on, for 20, 25, maybe even 30 minutes per game. That's not that can be problematic, but we'll see. Adam Miller seems to be the X factor.
Yeah.
He's a 6'3" third-year player, averaged 11.5 points at LSU last season, but he needs a waiver. This is going to be his 3rd year of college basketball with a 3rd different team. Started 29 games for Illinois in that 2020-21 season, and then transferred, and then started 33 games at LSU last season, and then transfer. Usually it's like, I don't think I'm starting, or I don't think I'm getting enough playing time. This dude starts every game and just says, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't think he's getting a waiver.
Yeah, like why?
I mean, I guess anything's possible. My guess is it doesn't happen. There's been it's coaches and players now seeing more clearly that that this one-time undergrad waiver thing seems to have some sort of teeth to it. So I would not anticipate him getting that waiver cleared. But.
Yeah, so obviously with him, it raises the ceiling on what you can be. It raises the floor on what you can be. I can't stress this enough. This guy started 29 games for a number 1 seed at Illinois in the 2020-21 season. On that team, it was Ayo Dosunmu, Kofi Coburn, Trent Frazier, Jacob Grandison, and then Adam Miller started with them. So he's a proven commodity at the collegiate level, but I'm with you. There doesn't seem to be what would be the explanation for granting him a waiver? He played at Illinois, used his one-time transfer to go to LSU. If you remember, towards ACL, right?
Yes.
Towards ACL, missed a season, then played last season at LSU. Now he's gotten to the transfer portal again at Arizona State, trying to get a waiver, but I don't want to say there's no chance, because there's always a chance, but I think your assessment is right. If I had to bet one way or another, I'd bet that Arizona State's going to have to play this season without Adam Miller, which means perhaps Arizona State's most talented guy is going to be somebody who's not even eligible to play for Arizona State.
That could be the case. And as I'm looking at this roster here, wild card team, I mean, there's just so much turnover. I mean, they can't be returning more than, I'm blind. They can't be returning more than 30% of their production at most.
They lost a lot.
So, which means not to say that it can't happen, but, and we kind of talked about this a little bit with the Oklahoma auction winner bonus episode there. It's wait and see. It really is. And I wouldn't think Miller will play. But we'll see on it. The other element to this, with Hurley, who's done a good job and earned his contract extension, there had been some noise about, would there be a sever there or not? There isn't. He got a contract extension, but he didn't get a long, I want to say it was 2 years. It was shorter than normal. And some of that was tied to the St. John's opening happening and whether or not Pitino would go or not, if would Pitino go to Providence or not, and the Pitino goes to St. John's, and so Hurley is still there, and I actually think he's a really good fit for that school, that program, and he's he's like his brother. I mean, he can really. I mean, he is an entertaining watch on the sideline there. But this year, yeah, there could be some growing pains, but I just don't put it past Hurley. This roster on its surface doesn't suggest that it should be a top 6 team in the Pac-12. He's been good enough that I think it's within reason that he could potentially get there. That's how I look at it.
I love Bobby Hurley. I think the Arizona State's lucky to have him. This is going to be year 9 for him. He's made 3 of the past 5 NCAA tournaments. He's 2-3 in the NCAA tournament. So you'd like a little more postseason success? Sure, I got it. But don't ever forget, this is an Arizona State program that has never won the Pac-12.
Or the Pac-10.
Or the Pac-8.
Or the Pac-8.
Has not won a conference title since before I was born.
And never will if it doesn't do it this season.
Well, think about this. Like, I think Arizona State's lucky to have him. Do you start reevaluating your job once it goes into the Big 12? Do you ever go, Jesus, this school hasn't won a Pac-12 title ever. Now I'm supposed to go to the Big 12 with Bill Self and Scott Drew and Kelvin Sampson? Maybe, I mean, would that make you at least
I think
think?
it should. I think it should. Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, that's part of it for sure.
Yeah, but I think they're lucky to have him. And I love that he's a relevant college basketball coach.
Yes.
Because he's a giant of my childhood. Those are the people that I have enjoyed getting to know the most in this profession, is the people that were larger than life figures in my childhood. In other words, way before I knew I was going to do what I'm doing, I was just somebody who liked college basketball and loved college basketball. And like Bobby Hurley was a big part of that.
Yes.
And the coaches from that era that are, still around. Rick Pitino is a great example. Like little me used to watch Rick Pitino's teams, and then to be, to get to a point where you know Rick Pitino, like to know Rick Pitino, to know Bobby Hurley, these figures from my childhood. That's my favorite part about this job, is that I have been lucky enough to get to know some of the people. Because I love Chris Holtman, but I didn't know Chris Holtman until he was like, the Butler coach or whatever. Bobby Hurley was a figure of my childhood. Rick Pitino was a figure of my childhood. We've talked about them both on recent episodes. I really like that. I love that Bobby Hurley, college basketball icon, is now Bobby Hurley, relevant college basketball coach.
Yeah, and a great coach to deal with. Was there on the, was overjoyed, obviously, when his brother won the Nat. I mean, he won it 2 times as a player. Now his brother has been able to win it as a coach. It was an awesome scene.
My favorite moment of that championship game, there was a moment, the cameras picked it up, and it's Danny on the court. Danny's son is dribbling out the clock for a national championship, and Bob Sr. and Bobby are standing right behind Danny, just sort of soaking it all in. I thought it was the sweetest moment. Just like you always hear people say, man, you couldn't write it any better than that. You really couldn't. Your famous brother and famous dad are standing right behind you as you watch your son dribble out the clock for a national championship. You could not do better than that. And I that was very important, I think, for Danny. I don't want to speak for Danny, but to see how happy Bobby was for him. And I think it was all genuine. Like Bobby came by our set, CBS Sports Network, one day, maybe the Saturday of the Final Four. I don't know. I could tell how proud Bobby was of his brother, because it has probably not been the easiest thing in the world. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
To be Bob Sr.'s son and Bobby's brother. It's like you've overshadowed your whole life. Like you were a really good player, but not as good as your brother. Really good coach, but not as good as your dad. To finally have that moment, I loved it, and I know Bobby really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, Arizona State, I would say, is lucky to have Hurley coaching him. Now, with that said, like he can lose his mind, and there have been issues. Like there has been a little this, a little that. There has been some bumpiness with his AD, although his AD, frankly, that's been a whole thing with the football program.
Yeah, the AD's of all the people we're talking about, lucky to have a job, probably the AD, not Bobby Hurley.
Exactly. So there's been no shortage of tumult, I guess, in the past couple of years. Okay, Hurley, I was saying, like, he's great to deal with. He's great at getting back to you. Has not gotten back to me, so we are. And I texted him. I was like, here's the deal, man. We did a podcast on you, charity winner. I didn't know ahead of time. Can you send me your schedule? Hasn't sent it. Here's what we do know. So we know that Arizona State is going to play in. He's going to play against TCU on December 16th. At Dickies Arena in the Coast to Coast Challenge. It's going to play BYU also on a neutral earlier than that. It will play in Vegas in the Vegas Showdown, and it will play Northwestern in the Hall of Fame series. Now, again, knowing Hurley, he's going to have at least one or two more notable non-con games. But guess what? Don't have them. I didn't know going in. That's the breaks. We're going regular season over under, largely blind on this because the Pac-12 schedule. We're almost to September. Can we get it together, please? Can we get it together? Can we get all these non-cons out? Arizona State last season makes the tournament, does so with a 20-win regular season. This team just doesn't seem as good. I think I'm going to go the same exact number as Oklahoma. If memory serves on the Oklahoma episode, I went 18.5. Here's the problem. GP can't go. He can't deduce the non-league losses right now.
Yes, I can.
He's like a child wandered into a theater. 18.5 over under regular season wins for the Sun Devils. What do you got?
I mean, it feels like 2 non-league losses to me.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
It might be.
It feels like 4.
Okay.
I'm going to say 4 non-league losses. All right.
Yeah.
And I said no higher than 5th in the Pac-12. Torvik says 10th in the Pac-12. All right. Let's split the difference.
7.5.
All right. Let's split the difference, but then round up.
Okay. What is up? Is up good or up bad?
I think up's good.
Okay. 7th.
Let's split the difference and go with 7. 7th in the Pac-12 last season was 10-10 in the league. So let's say that's what it is. 10-10 in the league. 4 non-league losses, 10 conference losses, 31 minus 14.
It's Oklahoma situation.
Oh my God.
You've long hated Bobby Hurley.
I love Bobby Hurley, but I have subtracted my way into quite a pickle here. I now find myself in quite a pickle. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say 17 for Arizona State. I'm not going to say it. All right. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to scrap all this. I'm going to redo it.
Okay.
I'm going to say 3 non-league losses and 11-9 in the league. That's 12 losses. 31 minus 12 is 19. That's much more respectable. Put me down for 19 wins heading into the Pac-12 tournament.
Put me down for 17 wins. Hurley didn't get back to me before this pod was over, so I'm holding at least 1 win against him because of it. Yeah, 17.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, it does. It sounds logical. 17-14 heading. No, I'll go 18. 18-13. Not knowing the entire non-conference schedule. 18-13. I'll go 18. So you still beat me. 19-18. And I think that's a wrap on our summer shoot around.
Oh, I can't wait till next year.
I'm thinking next year, let's do 18 teams over 6 weeks and 1 bonus episode. And I'm going to make sure that our auction, we're going to do another auction, but we're going to get that settled. We're going to get that straightened out and we're going to get that taken care of. Congratulations to Oklahoma and Arizona State for getting it done. We more than happy to do 2 bonus episodes next year. It will be 1, and I want to get it so we get a rolling tally over the course of a month.
We're learning as we go, you know?
We're
learning as we go. I will say, in all seriousness, I do think nobody cares but me. But like, I think having these run at the same time as the Candid Coaches series, we should make them not overlap because those Candid Coaches questions are perfect for just standalone episodes.
Agreed.
But we're consumed with the summer shoot around.
I agree.
We'll think about that.
We're
learning as we go.
We'll do 1 Candid Coaches wrap up and talk about our biggest takeaways at some point, and that'll be our next episode probably.
Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Huck. Shouts to Larnell. Thank you guys once again for listening and watching the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. Rate it, review it. There's more of us than there are of them. That should be reflected in the comments. I don't know when we'll talk to you again. I'm on vacation right now.
Nada said you had a shout on the outro with the mail with the email. Nada, what was that about?
What part of the?
I
have no idea what you mean on the email.
Okay. Well, shouts to Chris because we're going to be talking to him soon. I want to give him a shout on.
Hey, it's time to go. All right.
Is it? It's time to go.
Stop trying to make this thing longer than it needs to be. All right. It's time to go. We'll talk to everybody. We'll talk to everybody again real soon. Till then.